Hello everybody, happy Friday. Marlene, aka Snowburner 307 here with you guys today, a little bit later than planned, but hey, life happens. It was a holiday yesterday, and so today just feels all out of whack. We are here for budgeting basics. We are going to go ahead and catch up with Briana and her budget. We're also going to talk about my spending, unstuffing my wallet, and restuffing it. So let's go ahead and hop into this.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be
We are going to start off today's video with Briana and her update. And she did write me an email and also sent me a picture of her first 2-week budget that we worked through together. And you guys saw this on a previous video. If you didn't, make sure you go back to previous Fridays so you can get an update of what's going on. And so Briana talks about how she ended up having some medical expenses that were not planned for. And then also she normally would put her rollover towards debt, but because of the medical expenses and things like that, she's thinking that she wants to go ahead and use whatever is left over for a medical sinking fund. And what is most important in this journey, this budgeting adventure, as I call it, is you need to make sure that you are comfortable. This is your budget. Make sure that you are comfortable with your budget, because it doesn't matter what I suggest or what you see other people suggest, or maybe Dave Ramsey or the budgeting mom or anybody like that. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. And we're all a little bit different. So I think it's great that Briana is like, you know what, I want this a little bit of a sinking fund for some medical. And we all know that medical, when it hits hard. And then she also says that she had an issue with the chimney in their home. And she says homeownership is expensive. And so they had to pay $210 for that. And then she said that rural areas and rocks on roads are not her friends, and she needed a new tire as well. So life is lifing. We all know that that happens to us all, that things happen, right? We have a budget. We try our hardest to get the debt paid down. And this is what's so hard and so frustrating when you start a budgeting journey, is you can barely make ends meet, and maybe you've got a little bit extra, and then all of a sudden you need a new tire or an appliance goes out or something happens. So just remember, you guys, do the best that you can, stay the course, keep your goal in sight, and then also think about your why. Why do you want to get out of debt? For me, of course, it was to set an example for my children, but also to have financial security. And my why ended up getting bigger and bigger with the sheriff's office, because my why helped me to leave a toxic job. So there's a lot of things that go in and out. And so she also had the issue with chimney and the tire. It happens, right? And then she did say that she worked more hours, and it sounds like she worked a lot. She says she's exhausted. In the next pay period, she won't be working as many hours because they have got a birthday that they're going away for and everything. And so let's go ahead and put her budgeting sheet up right here. And you will see that we budgeted her paycheck to be $3,685 with OT of $2,220, because she knew she had already worked some when we made this budget. So her paycheck on here where she wrote was a total of $4,907. And then she also has 2 young adult children that pay for cell phones, insurance, stuff like that. So they got $459 from the kids. So it was $5,366 for the 2 weeks is what they're budgeting. Then we're going to go on down through, and you're going to see the bills right here. And you're going to see that as I look through everything right here, everything looks like it was pretty much on budget. A few dollars and pennies and cents here and there. But we had budgeted $2,550, and it was $2,493.17. And then we're going to follow our arrow up to all of our credit cards and our pay in fours. So you're going to see there was a lot of payments, and it looks like K Jewelers had more payment, BJ credit card had a little bit more, and these are just the minimums. But then you see like Credit One didn't have any. You also see Ashley Furniture. She did add $47 to that. I know when we set up her budget, it was on $0 because it was 0% interest. That might have run out now. So she paid $47 to that. Fit credit card, $57. I know that some of these credit cards went up because of annual fees, things like that. So I'm sure that that's why we're seeing a little bit of fluctuation here. And then we see also that we have got the medical on there, the house repair, and the new tire. And that was a big hit, right? So we had medical over 200, house repair over 200, new tire over 200. So we're not talking just a few dollars here. So the total on that was supposed to be $740.09. Instead, it was more than double at $1,553.46. However, because Brianna is working her tail off and had brought in extra income, we are still above the budget where it needs to be. So the budget had a leftover of $1,319.37. Then we scroll on down to the bottom where we look at envelopes and digital. These are for the weekly spending. And this is where she said she didn't break it down into everything because she just didn't have the energy. And I respect that 100%. I tell my husband that all the time. I just don't have the energy for this. And so all that matters is she knows her total. And she knows that I'm pretty sure she took some of her grocery money and moved it into other categories because of what we talked about with grocery spending. And if that's what you need to do, make it work, right? Make it work. And so $1,100 was budgeted. They did go over budget by $53.70, leaving $165.67. Since she had the leftover money, she did put $109.25 towards Care Credit 1, and then she left herself a rollover of $56.45. I know she worked her butt off. I know a lot of things happened that weren't supposed to happen, but we still have money left over in the rollover. All the bills got paid, and all of those extra expenses were able to get paid as well. So 2 thumbs up for Brianna and her family for the first 2 weeks on this budgeting system. They are starting a brand new 2 weeks this week, and next week you guys will see how they're doing. Next week, you're also going to see their next month's budget. We're going to talk about the debt update and the debt totals next week as well. So again, I want to thank Brianna and her family for opening up their finances and their lives to those of us here on YouTube. I am excited to be able to help her through the scholarship that I opened up and help her for free because it gives me warm and fuzzies. But really, this is why I do this. I want to be able to help people to achieve their goals and achieve financial freedom if at all possible, because being in debt is just such an awful place to be, especially when you're in debt up to here, right? I used to say I was in debt up to my eyeballs, but I mean, it was pretty close to being completely underwater. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and flip around. We'll go ahead and talk about my spending, and we'll go ahead and get my cash wallet stuffed and unstuffed. Here we are in week 4 of November spending for me. I can tell you guys, I did not do a perfect job tracking. I spent a little bit more money than I have on these totals right here because I have less money in my me category. But for the life of me, I can't remember where it went. The reason why I like to show you guys this in Budgeting Basics on Friday is because keeping track of where your money goes is one of the most basic things you can do in budgeting. If you have no idea where your money is going, there is no way for you to be able to budget. I try very hard to keep track of everything that I do, but sometimes I don't, right? And I've got to give myself grace. It's been a busy week this week, getting ready for Black Friday. By the way, happy Black Friday. I launched all of my sales just in case you guys are interested. That is why this video is a little bit later than normal. And so we've got Saturday the 22nd through Friday the 28th, and I have 5 no spend stickers. That has not happened in a very long time. I have a feeling at least one of these days probably should have had some spending on it, but I don't remember. So I'm going to give myself 5 no spending stickers. Then on Tuesday the 25th, I bought myself a London Fog, which if you're not familiar is a tea with basically cream and some flavored syrup, usually vanilla. And so that was $7 with tip. That came out of my money. I also went to our our local grocery store and did some shopping. I went to my store looking for prepper pantry specifics. And if you do watch my other channel, that video will be coming up very soon. And so I spent $96 on prepper pantry and just $5 of our weekly food budget. Then on Wednesday, I went out of town and I went and had lunch with my daughter and her boyfriend. I did some shopping. I had a lot of fun. I got my toes done. It was time for a pedicure. So the first thing you'll see right here is my pedicure. So it was $73 and I took that out of personal care, and you'll see I've got an orange dot marker there. That is because I paid with a credit card, but I went ahead and grabbed the money out of my personal care envelope. That is how I keep track of it. And then I went to Walmart and spent all kinds of money. I spent $175. If you're not familiar, that is the closest Walmart to me, and it's 100 miles away. So this is not an everyday occurrence. I spent $15 on car-related items. That was basically windshield washer fluid. I spent $21 on food, and this could have come out of Prepper Pantry because I bought a bunch of cranberries and some other berries to can, and I bought some heavy cream as well. And then also I spent $28 out of our home category. I talked to my hubby about this. What I did was I got some command hooks, which are for Christmas decorations, but I'm like, they're kind of like home, don't you think? And he said yes. And the reason why I asked him about that is we both put $25, well, we both put $50 a month into those categories. So 25 goes in each week. And so I like to ask him, right? And he said, I agree with you. So I took $28 out of there. Personal care was $16. Hubby needed some medication. And then Christmas was $95. You'll notice that there is no orange dot next to that yet. That's because I have not figured out where that money is coming from. I probably got it in my celebrations or my holidays, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that. I just haven't done it yet. And then went to sushi, and boy, sushi really adds up. $123. I took $52 out of my fun category. The rest of it is coming out of Julia's envelope, which is where, of course, I put money to be able to do this with. And it was for 3 of us, but yeah, we got quite a bit. And then I went to the Dollar Tree, and this was also for a YouTube video. And so it was for Julia. She had a fun challenge. So that's actually going to be coming out of the business fund. I haven't pulled it yet. So you see SG307, so $54 there. I went to Smith's and got some food for us for $40. And before I left town, I had bought myself a London Fog as well. So $7 there. That is all I have. And I just realized that I didn't add up the weekly spending. And of course, we didn't have any spending yesterday because it was the holiday. And then I didn't even leave the house today yet, and I don't plan on leaving the house. Mr. Snowgardener is going to go check the mail for me when he is done with a work project. And I don't plan on leaving the house because I have all the Black Friday stuff I need to take care of. So $580 for the week. So considering I only spent for 2 days, that was quite a bit, but not too shabby. So let's go ahead and roll back on over to our weekly check-in. And so you guys can see we've got week 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Sometimes if I've got enough days in, I go into week 5. We're not going to do that here. So let's just go ahead and go through my wallet. I've got my wallet right here. We're going to go ahead and pull out the cash that I have in here so we can reset. And we'll talk about what I spent. So for food, for my husband and I, we do $100 a week. This is all eating out and groceries. And so I've got 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got $34 left. So I spent $66 and $34 right there. $34 is going to go to debt. So we are not rolling that over. We are not keeping it. We are not doing anything with it. Prepper Pantry, I already know that I spent $96 there. So there is $4 left here. This is also going to go to debt. Every dollar adds up. So we spent $96. We've got $4, and I'm going to do $4, and I'm just going to do the little marks to say to debt. And then I've got my car. I did spend on the car. I just told you guys about that. I've got $35 left there. So that means I spent $15. I've got $35 left. We're going to go ahead and move that to the car sinking fund. And I'm going to set this off to the side in a different pile. Then we've got my money. I've got $75 left. So I spent $25. And the only thing I have written down is the 2 drinks. I'm pretty sure I did something else, but I don't remember. We're going to go ahead and roll over this. Okay. And then for Pay It Forward, we didn't spend anything. So we still have $40. We're going to go ahead and move this into our giving fund. And I believe this is probably going to go to Angel Trees or something like that. If not this year, in the future. So we've got $40 left, but we are going to move it to giving. And that is more of a long term. Then we've got Fun and Miscellaneous. I spent $50 because I put that towards the sushi. And I actually had a couple more dollars that got mixed into the wrong category. So I put it in there as well. And so nothing left there. Then we have Home. And I have got, let's see, $22 because I spent $28. And we are going to go ahead and move this to Home. So I'm going to have to keep track of all these over here. I don't have any sticky notes or anything. We're not going to use week 5. But after I stuff my wallet, we are going to come back and we are going to talk about the categories. We're going to talk about what we spent week 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will show you the total of what we spent for the entire week. I'm going to go ahead and move this off to the side where I can still see it to utilize it. But I do want to talk to you guys really quick. You're going to see there's a whole bunch of cash here. And this is because this is the money that I spent that needs to go to the bank to pay for the credit card. You're also going to see that I have a fake $100 bill here, a placeholder, and you'll see that it says My Sinking Fund to Capital One AA. So this is for my personal care that I needed to pay. Didn't have the cash for it, but I had a placeholder. So that's going to stay behind bank. Now let's go ahead and grab our new money, which I have right here. Well, it's not new really, is it? It is just a new pile of money. And as I said, food gets $100 every single week. Prepper Pantry gets $50. I am going to be doing a pantry challenge in January. I am super excited to do it again. This is the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, and I have done this in the past. You can go check out my other channel, Snow Gardener 307. $50 to car. For me, we are going to go ahead and put $40 into here. I always roll over my own personal money, pay it forward. We're going to go ahead and start off the month, even though we're still in November, we're calling it December. We're going to start off with our $10 there. And then we have got Fun and Miscellaneous, which is going to get $25. Home is going to get $25. And the bank money is going to stay there until I take it to the bank. Put this back in my wallet here. We are done with this. Now we have got these stacks that we need to figure out what we're doing with them. This stack right here we said was going to debt. So 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. $38 is going to debt. And before I get myself all mixed up, I am going to go ahead and grab out these sticky notes, because if I don't, I will film this and then I will have money sitting on my desk and I'll be like, what is this money for? And I will have to go back and watch my own videos to figure it out. I don't like that, you guys. I don't like it. Okay, and then we have $22. That's going to be going to the home category. Let's not put a sticky note on that. Let's just grab that binder, which I should have had out already. So $22. Sorry if the camera is moving. I just ran into the desk. $22 to home. This is our long-term sinking fund. There we go. So we're just going to put that $22 in there since we did not spend it. Then we also had our car sinking fund. And that had what? $35? Yeah, $35 going into my car fund. And last but not least, we had our giving. So we need to add that $40 into our giving. So for the giving, I do have Christmas Miracles is what I like to call that. So I'm going to go ahead and put $40 into there. Gives me a little bit more money to help somebody that may be in need, something that we want to do. So a lot of fun for that. And then let's go ahead and bring this back in. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this out just because I find it easier to write on with it being pulled out. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Let's talk about our categories. We will talk about what we spent every week. And I think this is the first time that I've done this on camera, so I am pretty excited. And I'm sorry if this is like cattywampus and crooked, but this is the way that I write the best. So we have got food. And let's see, for week 1, we spent $84. For week 2, we spent $100. For week 3, we spent $100. For week 4, we spent $66. And let's go ahead and add this up and see what our food is. Now, I do want to let you guys know for this, if you are not familiar with my husband and I's story, my husband does work out of town quite a bit. And if he's out of town, he uses his per diem to pay for that, not our food money. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Okay, then we have our Prepper Pantry. And our Prepper Pantry, let's see, week 1, we spent $97. Week 2, we did not spend any money. Week 3, we did not spend any money. And week 4, we spent $96. So 97 plus 96, we budget $200, so we spent $193 there. For car, let's see what we did. Week 1, we spent $61, and this is just me and my gas money, not my hubby's. $39 for week 2, and week 3 was $26, and week 4 was $15. So 61 plus 39 plus 26 and 15 equals $141. And I do budget $200, so we came in under for car as well. And then for me, sometimes my spending gets out of control, and sometimes it's pretty good. Holidays are really hard for me. I like to buy a lot of stuff. And honestly, I just remembered that I did Sam's Club order yesterday that I didn't put on the list. I say that because I found a yummy snack. So that's not for anybody else but for me. I bought Drizzlicious rice cakes. Have you guys ever had those before? I had gotten one at a doctor's office and it was so tasty. I bought some. So that's $105. And that has nothing to do with any of these categories here. It is out of our Sam's Club category, which is separate than the money that I carry in my wallet. So I only spent $105 out of my wallet. And that really surprises me. I feel like there should be more than that. But that's what it says. Okay, then we've got our pay it forward. And we did not actually pay it forward with this category this month. And so we didn't spend anything. But you saw the $40 went into the giving. And then we've got fun and miscellaneous. I do like having this miscellaneous because it makes it really nice just in case you kind of go over budget. Week 1, we didn't spend anything. Week 2, we spent $14. Week 3, we spent $36. Is that right? Yep, $36. And week 4, you just saw we spent $50. So 50 plus 36 plus 14. So we spent $100. Okay. And then for home, last category here. Week 1, we spent $6. Week 2, we didn't spend anything. Week 3, we didn't spend anything. And week 4, we spent $28. So 28 plus 6 equals $34. So out of these categories that we track, let's see how much we spent for the month. This does not include, like I said, Sam's Club. It does not include any of my business expenses. And it does not include my husband's eating out and stuff if it is work related. So $923 for the month. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. And you can do your totals here for all of these, and we can go through and total all of these for food. You can total in 2 different directions. So that is it for that. We've got $38 to put to debt. And I have decided as I was sitting here that that is actually going to be going to my husband's truck. We have decided to put it towards, if we've got money left over in categories that's for both of us, he gave me permission to either put it towards the mortgage or his truck. And of course, I don't need permission, but I like having communication with him about what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and put wallet right here. And we haven't had a lot of extra payments. And today is the 28th. It is the day after Thanksgiving. And so $38, not a lot, but every dollar adds up, you guys. So $31.87 minus 38, getting him that much closer to reaching his goal of not having a vehicle payment. So I will take this $38 and pay it towards his truck. All right, you guys, that's it for this Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving if you celebrate. And last but not least, I hope that you remember to keep on smiling. All right, everybody, have a great night. See you later.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.